Santa Wonderland at YMCA this week. Sand Dollar, our cryptocurrency, coming next year. Unbelievable tournament results last weekend. This is Flipping Ground Bahama News for the week ending December 6th. I'm Yasmin Popescu with these and other stories. Thank you for joining us. The Governor General, Sir Cornelius Smith, was in Grand Bahama last weekend for a brief visit, during which time he got to see and speak with representatives of the National Emergency Management Agency. Most of his visit went unrecorded. Grand Bahama will come alive next week for 4 days, especially for the kids, as Johnny Morris of Bass Pro Shops, along with Convoy of Hope, hosts a festival at the YMCA for kids, bringing even Santa.
I'm a fisherman, you might gather. I love to fish, and I'm blessed to get to come to Bahamas for many years, especially many years over at the island of Bimini. For big tunas and bonefish, and I met a wonderful gentleman there, Reverend Willie Duncombe, and he was a bonefish guide, preacher there, and he married my wife and I, and we named our son Ephraim, so it just built a close connection. And when the storm hit, we, like many people in the States and many anglers, love the Bahamas and wanted to try to help, and we're very lucky in my hometown of Springfield, Missouri. There's this awesome organization, Convoy of Hope. It's a worldwide leader in disaster relief, and they have a great reputation of, using gifts, either of money or merchandise, to make sure it's distributed as it was intended by people that have an interest to give, to get products out where they're needed efficiently and with integrity or honesty. And so we worked with them. We engaged a lot of our customers through Bass Pro to donate, and we've had many anglers or fishermen, sportsmen, and women donate to help people over there. And most of this has been with supplies, food, water. We donate a lot of tents and sleeping, things like that. But we wanted to do something for the kids. And to bring, besides just, nourishment or food, water, to bring them some fun, some happiness. And in our stores in the States, we have this program. It's called Santa's Wonderland, and it's just a fun thing for kids. And so that's what we're doing. And there's a lot of people in our company that volunteered their time, and we're working with Convoy of Hope. And then so we were over there a couple of weeks ago. I got to meet Pastor Robert Lockhart, Lady Rochelle, Karen there at the YMCA, great people, and we told them of our idea, and they've been very helpful. We want to just make a fantasy wonderland for kids, Santa's Wonderland. We're putting up some big tents, and a lot of our vendors donated really thousands of toys for the kids, and we're just going to make this a fun time. It'll go on for 4 days there by the YMCA there in Freeport. We'll just have rides and toys. Coca-Cola donated a lot of refreshments, and a lot of people have helped chip in. But the main thing is to create happy memories for mainly the kids or families and the people over there, just trying to do what we can to help and bring some happy times. And so we'll have old Santa Claus. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff. I don't know if we want to get into everything right now, keep some surprises, but we're going to do everything we can to make this a very fun, happy time.
Pastor Lockhart said, "We are expecting much of the community as well as the kids," and he gave thanks for those agencies involved.
Well, we just want to say thank you, of course, to Bass Pro Shops and Johnny Morris for the great investment they're going to be making in our children here from the 16th to the 19th of December. We want to say thank you to Convoy of Hope, who has been helping to organize this event and to put this event on. The goal is to reach out to 8,000 children on the island of Grand Bahama and be able to give every child a gift, and then also to distribute 10,000 bags of groceries to the adults. And so every night for 4 nights, the goal is to provide Christmas celebration atmosphere, gifts and food for 4,000 people every night. And the last night is designed to cater to 8,000 persons. So we want to say thank you to...
The dream of Grand Bahama being a tech hub still resonates in the mind of the minister responsible for Grand Bahama in the office of the Prime Minister, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson. This was expressed as he addressed the opening of the Rebuilding Smart with Technology seminar held on Monday of this week at the Grand Lucayan Convention Hall.
This morning's workshop was predicated on a number of truths. First, the reconstruction and recovery of our small business community is critical to our overall recovery. I believe we all agree that and we all can accept that. Small businesses have always been our lifeblood and should be our key focus on rebuilding our economy. A large number of businesses were significantly damaged in the storm and will require some form of rebuilding. Rebuilding provides us with the opportunity to do so using smart technology. If we have to rebuild anyway, then we might as well rebuild using the latest technology. A significant amount of damage involved the storage of paper files. This provides us with another opportunity to use more digital tools for data storage, which assists businesses in becoming more resilient and provides opportunities to build the technology industry in Grand Bahama and the Bahamas.
Of great interest was the move by the government toward cryptocurrency, and something addressed by the governor of the central bank, John Roll, as he addressed the seminar.
There's a lot that we have to think about, and it's really about making certain that the solution are widely adopted. And we know that coming out of the hurricane, if nothing else, it is a good example of where people needed an alternative. Because, first of all, having cash and know where to spend it, it's bad, right? So, I mean, it's just as bad as not having the cash and everybody's open for business. Because even the businesses, after a while, they have a nightmare. If the banks aren't there, and you have all this float building up that you have to deposit, and if you're in Crooked Island or in Nauru, then the bank has a charter flight, or the government has a charter flight to get the cash in or to get the cash out. So this is an example where there is a genuine need in a country like this to eliminate some of those logistical issues around cash handling. But it won't work if you leave a lot of gaps in the system, and you always need the just in case reasons to still have to deal with cash. So we have to address those, and I think the experiences of the currency pilot will help us iron out those issues. So I hope that you are drawn in and that you are interested on some level in your businesses to be able to accept electronic payments, because I think you would see, in some cases, a surprising difference in terms of the customer base or the potential customer base you don't have. There are lots of us who don't carry around as much cash anymore, and all we do is just browse and look until we find a register that has something that we can swipe or tap. So you want to always be where whatever the payment option is, it can be used, but then we have to make certain that we persuade you to see the cost justification. And I think we will.
This seminar was hosted by the Small Business Development Center, from which one of the leaders, Mr. Vinya Blair, said there are funds set aside by the banks to assist business owners to rebuild.
There's already been approved about $618,000. About $400,000 of that has been dispersed. The majority of it is in grants, two types of grants, a $5,000 standalone grant, as well as up to $20,000 in a matching grant, and I'm going to explain the difference in a minute. In terms of the approvals, about $365,000 in approvals. Now that's just not GB, that's both GB and Abaco. The lion's share of that is Grand Bahama. We've had most of our applications come from Grand Bahama. And Abaco, it's growing as things are picking up over time in Abaco. So, to access the funding, those of you who are familiar with our website, you should be able to easily find the applications online. That's accessaccelerator.org.
The Utilities Regulations and Competition Authority is holding what they call pop-ups around the country, and we're in Grand Bahama recently. Not sure what it was all about, a number of people came out to find. And here is CEO Stephen Burrow, Chief Executive Officer, on what the pop-ups are all about.
IRCA's role and responsibility is to regulate the electricity and electronic communication sectors in the Bahamas. Our offices are located in New Providence in Nassau, and over the last year or so, IRCA has recognized that if we have a responsibility, as we do have the responsibility, for regulation across all of the Bahamas, that we have to find ways to be present in the islands where the services we regulate are provided. So Grand Bahama is one of those islands, and in the context of Grand Bahama having 20 or so percent, more than 20% of the population of the Bahamas resident here, we feel it's important to have a presence on this island that reflects that positioning of the island. Now, at some point, we worked with the idea of having a permanent office, but at this stage we feel it's more important to be able to bring not just IRCA as in a presence or a body in an office, but to be able to bring on leadership so that we can understand the issues at a high level and so that people have access to the people who are making the decisions at IRCA. And the way we plan to do that over the next few months, next year or so, while we figure out exactly what kind of presence IRCA will have on Grand Bahama, is that we've set up what we call pop-up offices. So we're here at the Grand Bahama Chamber, we set up an office space and we make ourselves available, usually for a few days, and we plan to do this about once a month moving forward. So we make ourselves, so I'm here as the CEO, the directors of each of the sectors, the directors responsible for each of the sectors we regulate are also here. And we make ourselves available to members of the public.
Tourism in Grand Bahama is coming back. Those groups that love coming to Grand Bahama are keeping up their traditions, and Praise Factor Awards made their 5th annual visit this past weekend, bringing some 60 gospel artists. And while here, they had an afternoon of music, dining, and fellowship at the Manta Ray Beach Club. The group comprised recent winners in the Praise Factor Awards, a global initiative that recognizes and promotes the best unsigned gospel talent around the world. Hosted by the Ministry of Tourism, Senior Executive of Guest Services on Grand Bahama, Elena Robinson, said the Ministry of Tourism was honored to receive the Praise Factor artists who had made the Bahamas their choice destination for their vacation ministry trip. She said the group visit goes to show that our island and people have made a lasting impact on those visitors, adding that we are pleased to see that religious tourism is alive and well here, despite the recent challenges we're faced. This year's delegation included performers from Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina, New Jersey, Texas, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. They embarked on a very brief tour of Grand Bahama en route to the Manta Ray restaurant, where they not only enjoyed some authentic Bahamian cuisine, but also performed a number of uplifting songs intended to give residents a sense of hope and joy. The visitors also got a chance to learn about Junkanoo, bush medicine, and other aspects of Bahamian culture from local tourism practitioners. We'll be right back after the break.
At Media Unlimited, we want to make you a star. We help you make your own video programs, podcasts, blog, vlog, press releases, and more. Call for more information, 727-6909.
Residents of the island sorely affected by Hurricane Dorian have been waiting to hear about the outcome of the government's position on taking away taxes for a while. The Ministry of Finance has issued some information on what to expect and can be found online. This information tells you about the duty, VAT, business license, and real property tax breaks available for Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Abaco Keys. The link to find out what's going on is inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs/Hurricane Dorian SIRS order. This program is called Special Economic Recovery Zone Order, or CERTS. The approved islands includes Abaco, the Abaco Keys, Grand Bahama Islands, Smeetings Key, Deepwater Key, and Water Key. The CERS conditions apply to individuals and businesses under these conditions. The applicant is a business or resident of an approved island. Cargo is imported directly to an approved island. Imported goods fall under the approved list of items. Those items you will be able to find online. The Grand Bahama Port Authority, in conjunction with the Mercy Corps, is offering much-needed assistance to the business people in Grand Bahama. In a release this week, it was announced that micro, small, and medium businesses now have access to much-needed funding through the Restoring Industries and Sustaining Employment RISE initiative in collaboration with Mercy Corps, a leading global humanitarian and development organization. According to the statement, the RISE initiative will offer grants to at least 100 qualifying local businesses from across Grand Bahama, which have suffered losses as a direct result of Hurricane Dorian. Grants up to $10,000 will be offered, with applicants having access to Mercy Corp's groundbreaking Micro Mentor program that pairs business owners with mentors in their sector to help guide them forward. According to GBPA Director Henry St. George, the RISE initiative comes as a direct result of GBPA's post-Hurricane Dorian assessment of nearly 2,000 licensees. Mr. St. George was quoted as saying, "Our post-Dorian SME assessment revealed some very sobering data. We learned that nearly 70% of licensees were either uninsured or underinsured. 55% suffered significant damage due to flooding, and while 60% of the businesses have reopened, they continue to struggle to acquire new inventory, replace damaged equipment, and operate in these testing environment." We'll now take another break and be right back. Welcome back. In national news, Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, thanked the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and other public officers who were on the front line and in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. According to a news release, the Prime Minister made the acknowledgements during an appreciation luncheon on Thursday at the National Training Agency on Gladstone Road in Nassau. A delicious meal and entertainment by the Royal Bahamas Police Force pop band added a festive feeling to the event. Expressing his profound and deep gratitude, the Prime Minister was quoted as saying, "On behalf of the government and people of the Bahamas, and on our behalf, I thank you with all my heart for all the work you did and continue to do. You have made our country proud. You have made me proud." Also present were Secretary to the Cabinet Camille Johnson, Cabinet Ministers, and other senior government officials. It is good to see so many of you here this afternoon for this appreciation luncheon for public officers and individuals from various government agencies who played an important role in the midst of Hurricane Dorian, the Prime Minister said. Also, according to a national daily this week, the Bahamian financial services industry was said to be astounded by France's decision to blacklist this nation, with some asking, how much more can the sector take? In an interview with Tanya McCartney, the Bahamas Financial Services Board's chief executive, the Daily said that the organization and its industry members were equally as surprised as the government by the French action, as there had been no advance warning it was imminent. It said that while any impact will be much less severe than if the Bahamas had not been targeted by a multinational body such as the European Union or Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Mrs. McCartney added that no adverse listing is welcome news for a sector struggling for growth following a 2-decade-long assault by international regulatory initiatives. And several Bahamian financial services professionals argued that the French move was merely the latest example of how little control the industry has over its destiny, leading some to openly wonder how long the industry can maintain its status as a significant player in the face of such continuous bombardment. Craig A. Tony Gomez, the banker Tilly Gomez accounting and partner, was quoted by the Daily saying, "This again serves as another indication that the financial services industry is moving further away from our control and into the full control of those G7 and OECD countries." The Daily then quoted Ms. McCartney saying the BFSB were astounded that France would take such a strong unilateral action, adding that they are equally as surprised as the government. She noted that they are in constant dialogue with the government relative to tax transparency and to ensure that we stay on top of any concerns relative to these issues. "I know the government is communicating through diplomatic channels to get to the bottom of this, and to the extent the industry can assist, we stand ready. But we never want to be on any list. No adverse list is welcome news. We never want to be listed in such a manner." Having communicated with the Deputy Prime Minister, I know they are engaging their diplomatic channels to get to the bottom of it and to see what exactly drove the French government to take this position. In regional news, according to a release from the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, Adam Bola, Chief Executive Officer of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, was in Cartagena, Colombia this week, December 5th to 6th, to explore investment opportunities and strengthen regional relationships in support of shared development goals in Colombia and across Latin America and the Caribbean. Bola attended the U.S.-Colombia Business Summit in Cartagena, where he was to underscore the DFC's commitment to Colombia as well as the agency's enhanced flexibility to invest in Latin America. He was set to also meet regional business leaders to discuss opportunities to collaborate on priorities such as infrastructure development and women's economic empowerment. Additionally, Bola was to meet with high-ranking government officials to enhance cooperation in support of regional development, prosperity, and stability. DFC is a new U.S. government agency that combines and modernizes the Overseas Private Investment Corporation and USAID's Development Credit Authority, with a more than doubled investment cap of $60 billion and new financial tools. DFC is equipped to more than effectively mobilize private sector capital to priority regions such as Latin America. The agency continues to work with Congress to fund DFC through the appropriations process in order to exercise its new investment and development tools. OPIC currently has more than $1 billion invested in Colombia in sectors ranging from critical infrastructure to financial services, technology, and housing. In September, the agency signed letters of intent alongside the Inter-American Development Bank to support 2 Colombia investment funds focused on reaching and empowering the region's women. In sporting news, the 3rd annual Old Bahama Bay Wahoo Charity Cup was held last weekend with Team Langas with a 3-fish finish aggregate of 132.7 pounds, taking home the cup and the bragging rights. In 2nd and 3rd places were Team Corkscrew, 130.7 pounds, and Team Chief, 126.4 pounds respectively. The winners were recognized during a dinner and awards banquet on Saturday, November 23rd. Prizes were distributed for men's biggest wahoo of tournament, women's biggest wahoo of tournament, and biggest fun fish of tournament. Anglers from Florida was here for the tournament, which was hosted by the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation, who also served as a proud sponsor of the Wahoo Charity Cup. The tournament this year attracted 37 participating boats, the largest showing since its inception. With an average of 6 anglers aboard each vessel, this means approximately 222 visitors took part in the event at the Old Bahama Bay Resort and Marina. For the last 3 years, the Wahoo Charity Cup has served as a fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma NI, a non-profit charity that supports the research and treatment of blood cancers. All cash donations, silent auction, and the raffle funds and a percentage of the boat fees are given directly to the charity in Northern Ireland. This year, FLAC revealed that the tournament committee will select a non-profit organization in West Grand Bahama to whom a donation will be made. Also in sports, the 5 teams in from the U.S. were in for quite a struggle during the 19th annual Tabernacle Baptist Christian Academy Thanksgiving basketball tournament, which was held here last week. It began with a huge fanfare of over 130 persons coming to the island, inclusive of 4 of the 5 teams from schools in U.S., and they came in on a chartered Bahamas Air flight on Tuesday. The 5th team came aboard the Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line's grand celebration. Some 12 teams took part in the tournament, inclusive of male and female players from Tennessee and Grand Bahama. The visiting team included Christian Academy of Knoxville, Science Hill School, and South Green High School, and resident teams included Tabernacle Baptist Academy, Sir Jack Hayward Secondary School, 8 Mile Rock High, and Sunland Baptist Academy. Well, it was a time of great competition, with the girls' team from Tennessee battling it out. In stats from the Grand Bahama Sports, the Dobbins-Bennett High School beat out Elizabeth High 44-34. While in the boys' game, the Sunland Baptist Academy started off with a bang and dunk after dunk. But the second half, they were all dunked out. And it seems as if the Tennessee High School came back with blood in their eyes and a great desire to win. It was theirs for the taking, and they did just that. 59-55. It was an exciting game with quite an outcome. We now take you to our 7-day weather forecast. That's all for this week. For Flipping Grand Bahama News, I'm Yasmin Popescu, and look forward to seeing you next week.